Hi, I'm Meg from Cook with Meg. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to make two salad dressings. They're simple, they're totally different, and chances are you might have most of these ingredients on hand in the cupboard, in the fridge, in the pantry. We're going to make a vinaigrette, we'll call it an Italian salad dressing, and we're gonna make a ranch dressing, all from scratch. That means completely homemade, and you don't have to buy a big old bottle at the store. You can make your very own. It's easy, it's simple, it's fresh, and let's go. All right, the first thing you're gonna notice at any of my classes in Cook with Meg is I always have my recipe with me. Now this guy's printed. I have it up with a little clip on a board. You will see it. You'll see it right in the corner of the screen, and that's because I follow along with my recipe, not only when I teach, but when I'm at home and when I'm working on things. It's important to read the recipes from start to finish, as well as the directions, so that you have a pretty good idea of the roadmap. We like to think of a recipe as a roadmap. Now, when it comes to cooking, we do get a little more freedom, especially when it comes to making salad dressings. We are able to taste, you'll see the words taste for seasoning. We can taste it, we can modify it, we can add a little of this, we can add a little of that. But we have a very basic recipe that we're gonna show you today. And I'm gonna start with an Italian dressing. This would be like a vinaigrette. This dressing is super easy. You need vinegar, you need oil, you need a little bit of, I want to say fat, but something to do what's called emulsify or bring it all together. You need some spices and you need a little hint of sweet, and that's it. Do you want to make some dressing? Let's do it. As far as tools for today, we really just need a bowl and a little whisk. Obviously, if you have a bigger whisk, big whisks work. If you don't have a whisk, you could use a fork. You could even use a spoon. It will get you to the same place. With that said, we need some measuring cups and some measuring spoons, and we need our ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is mix together 2 tablespoons of vinegar with some Dijon mustard. Now, the vinegar that I'm using today is an apple cider vinegar, but absolutely any and all will work. 2 tablespoons. White vinegar will work. Honestly, absolutely every vinegar will work. White wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, even balsamic vinegar, it all works. So now that we have our vinegar, this is also what I do. I put them behind me. That way I remembered that I use them, and it also clears up some counter space. So we've got our vinegar down in our bowl. The next thing we want to add is some Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard, we're going in with 2 teaspoons, and we don't need very much. Dijon packs a punch. It's quite zippy. I like that word. It's got a little bit of spice. You can use any kind of Dijon. Honestly, you could use any kind of mustard for this recipe. Maybe you had like a brown mustard. Let me just rinse my spoon here. A brown mustard would work, a spicy mustard would work, a honey mustard would work. They all work. We just need that little bit of thickness to pull it all together. Now, we are making more of a clear-based vinaigrette, but you could even use, egg yolk, you could use a little bit of mayonnaise, anything to pull it together. So we have vinegar, Dijon mustard, and we need a little sweetness. Now today, I'm going to use honey. You can use maple syrup. We're gonna do a teaspoon. So squeeze in about a teaspoon. We can adjust. If y'all like yours sweeter, you can make it sweeter. And then we're just going to combine. I like to sort of tip my bowl up on its side just a little bit. Oh, it already smells good, and it just has 3 things in it. Vinegar, mustard, and a little honey. Now it's very liquidy at this point. Oh, there's a little piece of mustard, just a little seed here I want to get out. Sometimes that happens. So what I want to tell you when you are mixing, that's the key with salad dressing. That really is the big secret. We're just combining all the ingredients, and we want to try to get this blended and mixed together ahead of time. So if you know that you are eating supper, eating dinner, want to make a nice big salad, the great thing to do would be to make your dressing a little bit ahead of time, anywhere from 5 minutes ahead of time to the morning of, and pop it into the fridge. Let it hang out. Let those flavors get to know each other and be really happy. All right, so now we do not have a salad dressing. Salad dressings are oil-based. And right now this is just the liquid, the vinegar, the Dijon, and the sweet. So we've got the liquid, we have the tart or the citrusy, that's coming from the vinegar. We have the little bit of heat and tanginess and thickener in the mustard, and we have the sweet from the honey. The next thing that we have to do is we have to add some garlic, some spices, and some salt. Let's get those added before we go ahead and drizzle in our oil. So I've got garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic. You can use a garlic clove that you can chop up, mince up, grate, whatever you need. I'm using a garlic powder, and for that I'm gonna use just a 1/4 teaspoon. Garlic powder is pretty potent, so just a 1/4 teaspoon. Even that packs a punch. Garlic can go back on the counter because thank you for your service. We have used it. And we're going to start getting that garlic. Ooh, that smells good. Okay, that literally smells amazing already. We're gonna have a great dressing. So again, vinegar, mustard, sweetener, garlic. That's all we've added. See how easy this is? Little mixy mix. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to tell you was when you use garlic powder, it already is in a powdered form. It's been dehydrated and concentrated and dried and ground, and ergo, it's very easily meltable. It melts easily. So I love using a garlic powder for things like sauces and soups and salad dressings because it just blends in beautifully. All right, this could be where we stop. This could be the base of your dressing that you could take in a million different directions. But today, since we are making an Italian type dressing, we're gonna use 3 very classic Italian seasonings in the form of oregano, thyme, and basil. So we're going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of each into our dressing. Oregano, of course, is very Italian. If you've had pizza, if you've had pasta sauce or spaghetti sauce, if you've had anything Italian, you're getting that oregano. You will smell it and instantly know what I mean. Then we're going with the thyme, which is a beautiful dried herb. It is very lemony. It's got a bit of a citrus feeling to it. And then of course we all know basil, our good friend basil goes so well. Very, very good friends with oregano. And we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon. So in total, we're doing 1.5 teaspoons of dried herbs. These are things that we've got on hand. These are things we've got in the pantry. We probably have them. If you don't have all of these, do not panic. Use what you have. Maybe it's just oregano, maybe it's just basil, maybe it's just a little bit of thyme. Now this, as you can see, we'll hold that very close. Look at that, that's a lot of spice. So this is going to be very herby. The other thing when we use a dried herb or a dried spice, we need that liquid. We need the liquid to rehydrate. So, excuse me, let's imagine basil growing on a plant, or any of these growing on a plant. They're vibrant, they're green, they're full of chlorophyll, they look amazing, everything's beautifully green and lush and juicy. When you dry a spice or an herb, we are literally taking out all of the water. So all of that water is disappearing, the color of it changes, and they dry up. What happens when you put it into a liquid, it rehydrates. And in this case, all the beautiful oils come out when it hits the liquid and has a chance to sit. So we're going to leave the dried herbs in as long as possible. If we were to serve this immediately, it might taste a little, I don't want to say the word woody, but it might taste a little dried still. So the longer you can kind of let this dressing hang out and rehydrate, chef's kiss, the better it will taste. All right, are you ready? This is the moment of truth. This is where a vinaigrette becomes a vinaigrette. We need to add 6 tablespoons of oil, and we're going to do it a little bit at a time. Now, there are 2 ways that we can do this, and I want to show you. Let's grab a bigger little dish here. We need 6 tablespoons. So, because I'm just one person making it, why don't I take the 6, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tablespoons of oil. I used grapeseed oil, which is very neutral, doesn't have a lot of flavor. You can use any kind of oil that you have. Canola oil, vegetable oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Just know if you use an extra virgin olive oil, it will have a bit of a stronger olive flavor, which is still fantastic and good for dressings. But if you want it to be kind of neutral without a lot of flavor, and you don't want it to take over what's already in the bowl, use something that's a little more neutral. Grapeseed, canola, those work well. All right, so we need to drizzle and mix. That's why you saw, instead of me adding it, whisking, adding, whisking, I'm gonna be pouring and whisking. This is a great thing to do as a team. We're gonna do a couple little drizzles. I'm gonna zoom in so you can really see what's happening. But what we're doing here is a process called emulsification. Emulsification is when you mix 2 ingredients that don't want to be friends, oil and vinegar, together until they grab hold and become besties for life. And what it means is we have to drizzle slowly and we have to constantly whisk. Now, if you want a pro tip, do you have a mason jar with a lid? Throw this whole thing in a mason jar, pop the lid on, and give it a good old shake. It actually can store really well, just like this, in the mason jar. It can sit like this in the fridge, cover it up. Now, because we're using an oil, if you put this in the fridge, it may separate again and it may solidify, not completely, but a little. Don't panic. All you need to do is take it out of your fridge, let it come to room temperature. Oh my gosh. You guys, it smells so good. And just really give it a good old whisk. There we go. Tip it up on its side. Do this so you can see. We are emulsifying. We are bringing this together. Now there's 2 more things we have to add, which is a little pinch of salt. And I am going to taste this before I adjust the seasonings. We know we want a little pepper. Oh, this smells unbelievable. So an Italian vinaigrette is an incredible dressing to know how to make. This bad boy will be perfect on salad, bunch of greens, any kind of lettuce, chop up some cucumber, whatever vegetables you have. Maybe you've got some frozen vegetables that you want to roast in the oven on a cookie sheet or a baking sheet with a little bit of oil. Dribble a little bit of this, drizzle a little bit of the Italian dressing over it. Amazing. This would be incredible over chicken. This would be incredible drizzled onto some crusty bread with some cheese. You can use a salad dressing for just about anything. This would also make an unbelievable marinade, but just remember that if you are marinating raw meat in this, you would have to use all of it for the marinade and throw the rest out. Don't obviously use leftover marinade that you've had anything raw in, but you could divide it. You could take a little for your salad and take a little for some chicken, maybe pork chops. You could drizzle this over and then bake it in the oven. And now the moment, we have to taste it. So let's just go through the ingredients again. We have vinegar, Dijon mustard, a little sweetness, garlic, oregano, thyme, basil, salt, and a little crack of pepper. We have emulsified it. We're letting it hang out. We want all those beautiful herbs and spices to open up and get happy, but I want to taste it and see where we sit. A slow standing ovation. That's incredible. I don't think it needs absolutely anything else. I will go in with, I have clean hands. This is my little salt keeper. If you don't have a salt keeper, you can just shake salt in your hand. Don't shake it right into the bowl. Shake it into your hand and just take pinches from that. Wow, this is incredible. I'm getting the garlic, but not too overpowering. I'm getting that little tiny hint of sweetness. If you prefer your salad dressing to be on the sweeter side, please feel free to add a little more. Add a little more sweetness. But as I always say, it's easier to add more than to take it away. So don't add too much all at once. One more little taste. And if you're not a fan of just dipping a spoon in, go grab a carrot stick or a piece of vegetable, cucumber, or lettuce. Just have a little dunk, because then you'll get a better sense of how it tastes when it's going to be served as a salad. That's incredible. That is the perfect, the easiest Italian salad dressing. Enjoy. And we're back. We made our Italian salad dressing, which, by the way, I want to mention once again, you can leave that on the counter. There is nothing in that dressing that would need refrigeration. If you finish with it for the day or for your meal and you have leftovers, pop them into the fridge. Or if you would just feel more comfortable putting it in the fridge for the day, that works perfectly. But just remember to pull that out a bit before you're ready to eat, because those oils have to sort of melt back down to room temperature. Give it a whisk or a shake and you're good to go. Store it in the fridge when you're finished, but it could sit out for a few hours. The next one we are making is my all-time fave, and maybe yours too. It is homemade ranch dressing that I am telling you, you will never, I'm grabbing a whisk, you will never want to buy ranch dressing in a bottle again, because it's so easy to make if you've got those ingredients on hand. We literally need mayonnaise, sour cream, a little milk, a little lemon juice, and some spices. That's it. So we are going to start with mayo. Whatever kind of mayo you have, we need a half a cup of mayonnaise, whether it's a light or a regular. The only one that I haven't done would be like a salad dressing, the brand like a Miracle Whip. It would work, although it's got a bunch of different ingredients in it. So if you do have a mayonnaise, that will be a traditional ranch dressing. So half a cup of mayo. Then we're going to need a half a cup of sour cream. And the very best way is just to measure it out so you know you've got that half a cup. You can absolutely make more of this. Trust me, you may very well want to make more of this because it is that delicious. Any kind of sour cream will work, regular or light, it all works. And ranch dressing, of course, you can do a million different things with. You can even make this chicken recipe that uses a ranch dressing and you coat it in the ranch dressing and then bake it in the oven. It's so delicious. So that's it. First and foremost, mayonnaise and sour cream. That is the base of a ranch dressing. The next thing that we need is a little bit of milk and a little bit of lemon juice. We need to thin it out with milk, and we need to give it a bit of a zip, a tanginess. Remember when we made the Italian dressing or the vinaigrette, it starts with vinegar and oil with spices. Well, this is essentially the same thing. This is a cream-based dressing, which starts with the creaminess. That would be the mayo and the sour cream. The milk, creamy, thins it out. And then instead of vinegar, we're using lemon juice. But I want to tell you, if you don't have lemon juice, you can use vinegar for this. All right, we only need a teaspoon of milk. So I'm going to stop talking so I don't measure over. I have to stop talking so I don't go overboard. And if you're a little more comfortable measuring your milk sort of off to the side and then adding it, that's a good idea as well. I have lemon juice in a bottle. You can use fresh lemon juice. You can use whatever works for you. I'm getting a little in the bowl and not in the spoon, but about a teaspoon of lemon juice. That gets it all nice and tangy. And then it could not be easier. Oh, where's my best friend garlic? Nope, that's the time. We're gonna use a half a teaspoon, just like the last recipe, a half teaspoon of the following: parsley, chives, garlic powder. If you have garlic powder, easy, half a teaspoon, in it goes. Boom. We're gonna whisk it up at the end. So you can just add all your spices right away, and then we'll do the whisking. Dried parsley, really good. If you have fresh, if this is a summertime recipe and you've got access to some fresh parsley, go for it. These are the traditional herbs and spices that happen to be in ranch. If you only have one or two, use what you have. The last one is chives, which would be like a dried, minced up onion. If you had regular, like a green onion, you could use fresh, or if you had fresh chives, maybe you have a little garden space and you've grown a bit of chives, you can use fresh for all of this. And then we're gonna use a half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper. It's literally the recipe of a half a teaspoon. We are doing half a teaspoon of, let's see, parsley, dill, also dried dill works really well, parsley, chives, garlic, salt, and pepper. And you might say, but how do we know if it's a half a teaspoon? Because I'm using a pepper grinder. Just grind it for a little bit. And then again, we're gonna do the beautiful taste test. We're gonna make sure that it tastes incredible. You can whisk this, or you'll see I've got my spatula on board and I'm just whisking it or mixing and stirring with my spatula. It absolutely does the trick. Now, what I love, 100% we have made ranch dressing, my friends, already. We've made it. That's it. That's it. That's all. It looks like ranch dressing. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. Can you see? Look at all the little bits. That's the bits you see in ranch. You see the little bits of parsley, the little bit of onion or the chive flavor. You can smell the garlic. It's incredible, and that's how easy it is. This one, we do want to let this hang for a little bit because we want, again, the chives to soften, the parsley to release their oils, the garlic to soak in. But honestly, taste test time. What? Okay, that is my all-time favorite dressing. If you put a blindfold on me right now, oh, that's so good. If you put a blindfold on me right now and you gave me salad dressing from a store or this one, I couldn't tell the difference, and I might even tell you this one tastes better. So there it is. You've made at least a cup's worth. Homemade ranch dressing. Put this in the fridge, put it in a bottle, put it in a jar, cover this up, get it in the fridge. This will last in your fridge at least a week, even like a week and a half, but I guarantee it won't be there because it's so delicious you're going to want to eat it right out. Awesome on salad. It makes a great dip. You can use this to slather over chicken and pop it into the oven. Excuse me. Chicken nuggets, chicken fingers, it's a great dunker. There you have it. You have a vinaigrette. Where is it? Let's grab it. 2 dressings, 2 different ways. Unbelievable flavor. We made a creamy homemade ranch. We made a vinaigrette full of spice. 2 salad dressings to get you through any time of the day with any meal, used 100 different ways. I hope that you take your salads to the next level with some homemade dressings. For more about me, you can head to cookwithmeg.com. I have had so much fun making these with you today. Don't forget to clean your kitchens. Put everything away for the next person who gets to cook in your kitchen. I've loved having you in mind, and I can't wait to see you again. We are awesome.